Joining me today from the Department of Trade Consumer Protection, my friend Michael is back. The DATCP Master.
Ooh, I like the title. Let's roll with that.
Could work.
It could work.
I'm still working on the details of that. Thank you for coming back. Today we're going to be talking about fake online shopping websites. I have famously told my pool story over and over and over to this, that what we talk about today is exactly what happened to me. Saw something on a social media platform, like, oh my gosh, that's a really killer deal with a named company, pool company. Mm-hmm. Click on it. Looks legit. Start putting information. Something tipped me off. One small piece tipped me off in there on the too good to be true, and there was something in the writing too that kind of was like, oh, wait a minute, and within 2 minutes figured out it was a scam, and I was seconds from clicking and being on your hotline saying, well, I just did this. That's how quick it happens. It is as easy as that, right? So, 100%. And they mock any website. I mean, it's anything.
It is, absolutely. And that's what I think is a great benefit to having opportunities like this to talk, understand what to look for, because it does result in, you see it, you recognize it, and then you stop. Sure, maybe you got a little ways in, but the point is you stopped before they got any money, and it really got worse. And that's the whole goal of what we're doing. And the key is, as we've I'm not even saying embarked, we're now immersed in an online world. Mm-hmm. And in order for almost any business to be successful, for the most part, they'll have to have some type of online presence, whether it be just a promotion, but a lot of the big retailers do most of their actual retail commerce there. So, of course, scammers know this, and they say, well, here's a prime opportunity for me to mimic those websites. People are used to seeing that. They start getting into that understanding of, well, I'm not going to pay as much attention because it looks like the same thing for the most part that I saw the first 100 times I was on it. And then we get kind of complacent in not picking out those little details, and you did. And maybe if you're into new or unique sites, that brings a different risk because you don't know what you should be looking for. So, but there are little things we talk about of how you can potentially pick those out so you stop before you click pay.
Yeah, don't do what Jeremy does, first off. It was too good to be true, and that should have been enough there. But scammers have created these copycat websites. Like you said, they look totally legit. Everything's there to a T. But there are some things that should stand out to you first. The first one you say, it might be hard to figure out that these are fake, but before you enter your information, what should you check for on that website?
Right, the website first. Well, even before you get to the website, if you say you're sent a link and you want to look at it, one thing you can do before is just hover over that link and see where it's taking you. If you're on, let's say Michael's Motors, and I see a link there, and all of a sudden I can tell that it's taking me to Jeremy's Transmissions. That's going to tell me, hey, here's a problem. It's not taking me where I would. If you end up on the website, pay attention to the web address that you're on. Look at it, because the smallest little nuances will change completely what that web address is. A good example would be our website, datcp.wi.gov. Well, instead they could put D and maybe the @ sign. TCP looks kind of like an A, you're not paying attention. Or maybe it's wi.com or .org. And so if you're not looking where that is, that's a very different website. But we've also seen these scammers do an incredible job of creating these fake, fictitious websites that look identical to the normal, real one. And they're even doing it not just on the front page, but several pages in. Yeah. And so when you get to that purchase screen, you may be familiar with it. It looks just like it. And that's the danger.
And these are real companies. So we're talking about Amazon. We're talking about Green Bay Packers?
Green Bay Packers, their pro shop. They recognized that there was a scam going around. It was going through Facebook, and it was promoting this great sale on all these products, Green Bay Packer apparel and memorabilia. And it said, click on a link. And these scammers had created a website that looked just like the pro shop. And so the pro shop recognized this and reached out to the media partners, reached out to us and said, hey, can you bring awareness? Because we want to make sure the consumers are going to the right site. But more importantly, when you make that purchase on that fake site, you're not getting anything. So not only do you give away your payment information, you're going to probably get that charge, but there's going to be future harm as well.
Yeesh, yeesh. Another protection piece on this, if it is a regular consumer site that you're buying from, a retailer, a lot of times you're probably signing in, or you are signed into it. So if you're going into this and you're like, oh man, I got to sign in, that might be something to tip you off.
It will be. Will tip you off if you really are going to go to that site once or twice. Almost always have the option to check out as a guest. And so we would encourage everyone, maybe just check out as a guest the first couple times. If you find you're going to be going recurring and creating that profile and being able to use some of those advantages might be helpful, especially once you verify it's legitimate. Where another danger red flag comes up is if you're on the normal website, you've logged in, and it keeps asking you to log in again and again. That's a red flag of, wait a second, I may not be, because now what they're trying to do is capture it again. Maybe they didn't get it the first time, or it's a new login and you're verifying it. That's where you want to pause. Maybe just go back in, try that transaction again, where you know it's trusted, and know what to look for.
Maybe to back up here too, I said it off the top that these might not just be typing in www.xyz. These are coming up. You're finding these on social media platform. You're finding these on might be a text message. These are things that these websites are popping up in places that maybe you weren't expecting it to, or you're like, wow, that's a killer deal because I'm on social media right now. I'm scrolling right. Oh my gosh, Walmart's got this killer deal on whatever. And you press that, and now you're on your way to potentially the wrong thing. I think that to back up a little bit on that, because I think that's important to definitely double back on and say, hey, when you're out on these platforms, that's where they're going to catch you, right? That's where they're hoping, like, you're going to see it, say, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And then you're on the path to disaster.
Yeah, oftentimes we talk about those unsolicited phone calls or text messages or emails. For the online these fake online websites for the retailers, you're absolutely correct. Social media is where they're being promoted the most. And you have a variety of platforms to choose from. And so these scammers take advantage of all those options. And you're 100% right. You're scrolling through and you see, here's this great deal. And of course, the analytics show what you may have been looking at here or there, or they can see your feed. And so they can tell you what they want to push that you might be interested in. And then that's how they pull you in, because it looks like maybe another real ad that the true retailer was putting out.
Yeah. No, I think important to say. And finally, whenever doing online purchases, using a credit card over a debit card, you got to get into that practice.
You really do. You really do. The credit card companies provide that added layer of protection, and they have great fraud departments. They've spent years seeing the same things we're talking about and trying to put those safeguards in place, but they also recognize that some things are going to slip through. It's not uncommon for any of us to hear a story about how all of a sudden you get that unexpected phone call and say, hey, did you really purchase this? And either you say no, or maybe it was a good example. I was traveling a couple years ago out west, and I was getting gas in Nebraska, and all of a sudden my card didn't work. And I'm like, what's going on? I immediately got a phone call. It says, hey, are you getting gas in Nebraska? And I'm like, wow, I am. But thanks for checking. So it feels good to know that those are in place.
Yeah, but that extra layer of protection that the credit card can provide you to get those funds back potentially. I mean, that's really what that is the difference.
It is, and those credit cards, the amount of time that you have, to kind of dispute that charge or maybe get that fixed is longer than if you use your debit card. More importantly, with those debit cards, then that's access, if you're compromised, right to your bank account. And so then that cash is gone. You may need that cash versus that credit can sit for a little bit and you can help float it.
All right, a lot of things shared here, and a lot of great tips, Michael. But if folks want to explore more about fake shopping websites, DATCP's got some great resources online to help you spot some of these things. And more importantly, if you do find one of these, report it. After the pool incident, I sent a full report to you guys. I was so mad at myself, but more importantly, I'm like, when I researched and looked at the number and Googled the number, it was a pizza place in Minnesota, and they're like, hey, stop, don't, whatever you're doing. We're a pizza place, not a pool place, and you're being scammed. We've talked about last time too. You can put in scam, pool, scam, X, Y, and Z. But reporting these things so important, and they were actually able to get in and say, yeah, we found this. It was it was wrong, and I don't know what. After what happened, because that's for you guys to know, for me to say, hey, you shut it down.
Dark and secret. I agree. Filing is important for many reasons. The first is it gives us an opportunity to have awareness on what's going on and maybe we know about it. And then we can carry that over to situations just like this, where I can sit down and we can say, hey, not only did it happen to you, but chances are it's happening to others. And so we can help stop it there. The other part is we can dig in a little bit, and it gives us a chance to say, all right, who's behind this website? Are there potential other victims who actually did click payment, and can we get it back? But all that starts with filing. The only way we know about it is if you tell us, and that's through filing a complaint. And you can do that on our website at datcp.wi.gov. On that same website, we have a library of resources on online shopping tips, things to look out for. If you do fall victim, what steps can you take to protect yourself? Or if you don't want to go to the website and just have a couple questions, you can give us a call at 1-800-422-7128.
Yeah, it was a little late at night when I figured this had happened. So I was like, I'm going to call the hotline. Now I'll just fill out the form. But it is really easy to fill out the form. And I said, I think the more we report it, the better we can educate.
Sure is.
All right, Michael, thank you so much for your time. And I'm never buying a pool, just so you know.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jeremy.